Okay, let's talk about it.
I want some nasty. Are we having fun yet?
All right, so before we get started, big shout out to Peter here for actually tagging me on Twitter and saying, hey clan, let's talk about this. I actually saw this video swarming around YouTube, but I just didn't click on it. I didn't have a lot of hype going into it, but a few people said that I should watch it. I got a few DMs, and Peter, after he put this on Twitter, I was like, you know what, I am gonna cover it. So we'll go over this video and we'll talk about Lonnie Walker and if he was held back by the San Antonio Spurs. Now before that, really quick, if you guys want to support the channel, clan themerchfan.com, link in the description. I really do appreciate all the love that you guys have shown. Once again, clan themerchfan.com. All right, okay, cool. So Peter, big shout out to you. This video is only for you. Now, I have been seeing this continuous narrative, and I don't know if this video goes into this at all, but everyone is talking about how great Lonnie Walker has been lately. So I wanna gloss over that just a little bit. Now, this video is called "The NBA Player Who Revealed His Darkest Secret." We all know what that is, that he dealt with some sexual abuse as a kid. So we all know that. If you're a Spurs fan, obviously you knew this, but we'll watch the video, we'll see what they're saying. But a few people have DM'd me and said that the video has something in there that has to do with him not being as good on the Spurs. I don't know, so we'll see. Let's go ahead and open it up and we'll talk about it.
No one was
Maybe I should like actually go to YouTube. Yes, actually go to YouTube.
No one was
All right, hey, calm down. We're gonna do this. Let's go ahead and speed the subject. Should we speed it up? Yeah, speed it up 1.25. Yeah, we'll do that.
excited when the Lakers signed Lonnie Walker. But what they didn't know is LA was getting a player who recently freed himself from his dark past. Just look at the numbers. He's gone from a below average player in San Antonio to the third best scorer behind LeBron and AD. How is that possible?
Right off the bat, this is no. What do you mean? How is that? Hold on.
Past. Just look at the numbers. He's gone from a below average player in San Antonio to the third best scorer behind LeBron and AD.
That is so misleading. He's gone from a below average player to the third best scorer behind LeBron and AD. How is that possible? Are you joking right now? Are we joking? First and foremost, I'm gonna say this right now. I never saw Lonnie Walker as a below average player. I saw him as a very athletic player, a very talented player who's just inconsistent. But I don't think that's been different whatsoever. Now, God, should I just go through this video and then address this, or should we just let's go through the video first. I do want to address this point. I think that narrative is absolutely asinine.
How is that possible? Lonnie was known for athleticism coming out of college, but can never back that up with actual consistent skill. Well, it turns out Lonnie has changed a lot more than just his game. His coach Darvin Ham said he's a genuine guy, man. He's a genuine guy that's been through a lot in his life. And I would argue Lonnie Walker has overcome more than anybody in the NBA. His story is so...
This is so hyperbolic. I don't know.
So inspiring. It's unreal he got through the other side at all. Lonnie is from Reading, Pennsylvania. When he was 12 years old in 2011, Reading was the poorest city in the United States. The only thing he had was family, and his dad set Lonnie up for success without having any money. He made Lonnie read and write for an hour after school before training for basketball. They had no fancy equipment. It was literally the street outside his house and a park stoop to work on his leaping ability. So Lonnie made varsity as a freshman, but he had a growth spurt to over 6 feet tall.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to like compare trauma. I'm not trying to compare like one player to the next necessarily when it comes to like what they had to go through. That's still stuck in my head. Lonnie Walker had the roughest path than any other NBA player in the NBA. I can't. No. DeRozan, I can't go with that. I don't get that one. I mean, maybe, but I don't know. If he had the toughest, maybe, I don't know. I think if at the very worst, in my opinion, I think that is like neck and neck with other like players that's been through a lot. I don't know. I think that's a little wild.
And by senior year, he was on national recruiting boards. 24/7 Sports ranked Lonnie 16th in the country, ahead of Trae Young and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He led Reading High School to their first...
Hold on, who else was on that list? Alec Williams. Gary Trent Jr. was ahead of Trae Young and SGA as well.
16th in the country, ahead of Trae Young and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He led Reading High School to their first state title in their 117-year history. This is not some fancy prep school that some NBA players go to. Lonnie took a small, poor team to the top. He chose Miami for college as a 5-star recruit and entered the 2017 NBA draft, was taken 18th overall by the Spurs. Most fans just knew him by his hair. You couldn't miss it. It evolved along with his game growing up. First, it was an orange mohawk, and then a flat top, and then it just grew a life of its own. The Spurs will often take a project late in the draft so that they can develop them like Kawhi Leonard. So they sent Lonnie to the G League almost his entire rookie year. But in year 2, there were still problems. He shot 55% at the rim, which made him one of the worst finishers in the NBA. Other players can miss that close because they'll get to the free throw line. Lonnie barely ever got to the line. In an early loss to the...
Oh, was he saying... Okay, maybe it's good that I went through his video. Was he saying that he was below average before last season? Like when he had his long hair? Maybe I would agree with that.
Clippers, Greg Popovich ripped him in the media. I expect better effort, better awareness, and a better attempt to take advantage of the minutes that he gets. I thought he was non-competitive. That is a bad thing to hear for your future in the league. But a month later, he went off for a career-high 28 points against the Rockets. The big problem was consistency. He'd be great one night, then a disaster the next.
True.
Right when he was getting steady minutes, the NBA shut down due to COVID. And the next time we heard from Lonnie Walker, the internet went crazy. He posted this video cutting off his trademark hair, but it's what he wrote in the caption that was a lot more stunning. What Lonnie said is disturbing, so if you are easily bothered by trauma, I would suggest turning this video off. But I promise it has a really good ending. So Lonnie wrote on IG, the real truth as to why I started growing my hair out in 5th grade, it was a cloaking device for me. I was around more family, some whose names will be left alone. I was sexually harassed, abused. I even got accustomed to it because at that age, you don't know what's what. I was a gullible, curious kid that didn't know what the real world was. I had a mindset that my hair was something I can control, and it gave me confidence. As of recently, I wasn't at my best. Previous history popping up in my head, and it sucked mentally. Demons. Because of this virus, I began to truly look at myself in the mirror and see who I truly was, even behind closed doors. Long story short, I have found peace and internal happiness through this journey, God willingly. I forgave everyone, even the people who don't deserve it. Why? Because it's dead weight. Me cutting my hair was more than a cut. My hair was a mask of me hiding the insecurities that I felt the world wasn't ready for. But now, I am better than ever. I have shed my skin mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. Life will always be hard. Gotta play the cards you're dealt with and try to make a winning hand. And if you lose, it's never a loss, it's a lesson. Wow. Thankfully, Lonnie got nothing but support from people in the comments. And the really cool thing is, he actually hasn't talked about this since he posted that video. People have respected...
That is interesting. That is interesting. Yeah, he hasn't. Then again, I think this is probably something we need to note as well. He said that no one has talked about it or asked him about it since. It's probably more so because he's in San Antonio. Like, I'm not trying to have some bias here, but I have a hard time believing that if something like this came out while he was with the Lakers, let's say he was with the Lakers a few months from now, like when the Lakers are trying their best to get into the playoffs, because I'm sure that's the position they'll be in, trying to get into the playoffs. And I think they will. But once they're in the playoffs, then he does something like that. I think they will be all over it. And I think they would ask him about it. But it's because he's in San Antonio. Very similar to how people view Lonnie Walker now that he's with the Lakers, even though I've seen these Lakers games, he's the exact same player. So
his privacy, and they know it was a big, courageous step he had to make to get free. So Lonnie stepped back on the court in the bubble with a different haircut and a new outlook. He went from about 6 points in the regular season to 11 in the bubble, but it was not enough for the Spurs to keep it. After year 4, they chose to move forward with other young players like Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson and Josh Primo.
Which was the right decision, but Primo.
And he didn't rip the Spurs for this, unlike some other players. Lonnie said, "Just spent my last hours in SA, and to think I'm not coming back is crazy. Will forever love the city of San Antonio." His saving grace in the league was being so young, the Lakers took a chance on him. But they didn't know they were about to get their third best player. If the Lakers make the playoffs, Lonnie's a big reason why. Immediately made an impact, scoring 17 points as a starter in the first 8 games. These last 7 games, up to 20 points a game, 40.
Hold on. This is so misleading. This is so misleading. I'm sorry. Hold on. But we're gonna finish the video. Before we do that, let's take a look here. So this is Lonnie Walker this season. This isn't being used to like dog on Lonnie Walker, okay? But he said the first 7 games. That's very convenient. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we go into the month of November. Very, very convenient there. But to me, Lonnie Walker, I mean, he averaged 14.2 in his first 6 games, most of which were L's. Like, they were straight up losses. Not only that, they had to play Lonnie Walker a stupid amount, okay? Stupid amount. And even with that being said, it's not like he's been a consistent, like, great, phenomenal scorer. I mean, we're talking 37 minutes. We're talking 40 minutes against the New Orleans Pelicans. And don't get me wrong, he did well. 9 for 17 is really good. 5 for 9 from 3 is absolutely insane. But one thing that I also want to point out is that in San Antonio, you know, if we're looking at San Antonio, you know, it's still, like I said, inconsistent, but he wasn't working with a A-tier passer of the basketball, an A-tier facilitator of the basketball. He was working with our best, you know, point guard on the team, and probably Derek White, but also DeJounte Murray, who was the star of the team. That's who he was working with. Obviously, if you're working with LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and well, you know, Anthony Davis on and off as far as his injuries, but if you're on the court with LeBron James, he's going to get much of the attention. It's going to make it much easier for you. I've watched these games. Lonnie Walker is the exact same player. Not saying that he's been bad. He's been really good, but he's the type of player that needs an environment where he's around a superstar. And unfortunately, when he was with the San Antonio Spurs, we just had a bunch of young guys still developing, and the best player on the team was DeJounte Murray. And I'm sorry, DeJounte Murray isn't the best facilitator in the world. So obviously Lonnie Walker isn't going to just be phenomenal under the Spurs. He's the same player. All it is that his numbers look better because he's playing with better players. That's it. I don't understand this. We'll get back to this in a minute, but I'm sorry. I know I sound like a hater at this point, but that just kind of bothers me.
6% from 3. He is a candidate for most improved player. When they went on the road to San Antonio,
how is he a candidate for most improved player? How? I would say, I mean, look, once again, my bias, but I would say like Devin Vassell would be closer to most improved player. There's quite a few other players, but his increase is what, 4 points from last season? I think he was averaging. Hold on, we'll look at it just really quick. You'll see. Lonnie Walker. Let's see. Yeah, he was averaging 12 points per game to 16 points per game. How is that? I don't know. I don't know about that one, Chief. I don't know. We'll see, but I don't know about that one.
Antonio, it wasn't a revenge game, it was a homecoming. The Spurs played Lonnie a tribute video, and on his downtime, he passed out turkeys to needy families for Thanksgiving. Lonnie still gives back.
In San Antonio? That's pretty cool. I'm assuming that's what they meant. I like Lonnie.
In San Antonio and back at his hometown Reading with the Lonnie Walker Foundation.
Wow, he did it in San Antonio. Wow.
A lot of athletes, by the way, have charities really for tax purposes. This one is different. Lonnie puts in a ton of work giving back to the community. Now at 23 years old, he is finally free on the court with starters minutes and in his mind. And I know you have to grow up fast as a poor kid trying to make it out, but I don't know a lot of 40-year-olds that are this mature. It's not just the fact that he got his...
He is very mature.
Story out there, which is huge. It's the forgiveness. I can't imagine how hard that must have been, but Lonnie's unconditional forgiveness set him free. The motto of his foundation is never give up, and that is exactly who Lonnie Walker is on and off the court.
We've been through so much, but once you overcome it, you know, you hit a point where it's like, oh, nothing can break me down, man. I've been through enough. That's what made us who we are. Like, that's what made me me. And I love it. And I'm just willing to help out as much as I can.
Man, if he is not your favorite NBA player after seeing this, at least your second favorite NBA player, he absolutely is.
This guy, I don't know this channel, okay? But this is very hyperbolic. Oh my gosh.
It's one of mine. Dude, it's so inspiring, makes me not want to ever complain about anything ever again. And the cool thing is, if he is like Malik Monk, dude is about to secure his NBA future and secure a bag. Check out the merch store, by the way, that just launched right below this video. And if you want to see...
Okay, all right, so here are my thoughts. First and foremost, also, AM Hoop. Okay, wait, I have seen AM Hoops before. Okay, gosh, he is so hyperbolic. I mean, I like his energy, but good God. Okay, so when it comes to Lonnie Walker, I've seen these games, okay? He's the exact same player. I'm not trying to hate on Lonnie. I'm not trying to say Lonnie is trash or anything. In the month of November, he has played fairly well. I mean, you're averaging 18 points per game. We're talking 44% from three. But I'm telling you, this is because he's been with LeBron James. That's all it comes down to. It's not a matter of he's so much different or he was held back with the Spurs. No, he's just surrounded around better talent. I guarantee you, if LeBron James went down, if AD went down, you wouldn't see these numbers. But even with that being said, Lonnie Walker is still inconsistent. Like he's still been pretty inconsistent even throughout this season. Now, like I said, in the month of November, totally fine. But for the most part, I've watched these games. He's the same exact Lonnie Walker. I'm not watching any Lakers games and shocked by what I'm seeing from Lonnie Walker. I'm just not. Okay, I always knew the talent was there. We always knew that the talent was there, and he has these spurts. Now we'll see how this continues. But as it stands right now, I think it's just the talent that he's around. But this guy was talking as if Lonnie Walker is like a star and just blatantly saying, "Oh, look, he's." Look at the numbers. He's the third best scorer behind LeBron James and Anthony. Who else is on the team? Who else is on the team? I mean, Russell Westbrook is a better player than Lonnie Walker, but like, who else is on their team? There's no one else on the team. If we're looking here, when he was with the San Antonio Spurs, I mean, he was the sixth leading scorer, behind obviously DeJounte Murray, obviously Keldon Johnson. I think Keldon Johnson is a better player. Obviously Derek White, especially when he was with us, but you know, Derek White left in the middle of the season, but I think Derek White is a better player. Jakob Poeltl, that's mainly because the pick and rolls with DeJounte Murray. I mean, he just spoon fed him. Devin Vassell, I think he just showed like slightly more promise, but Devin Vassell and Lonnie Walker was basically in the same ballpark as far as how many points they were putting up. So I just think that's such a weird way of viewing it. Another thing too that people don't keep in mind with Lonnie Walker, he can be pretty injury prone at times. Now, he's been perfectly fine with the Lakers, and I hope that you know, stays put or whatever. But when it came to the Spurs, there was quite a few times where we had to sit him or at least hold him back a little bit because of those injuries. So I think that's something to keep in mind as well. But man, this is just really, really hyperbolic. I just wanted to talk about it. I did not know what was in this video, but after he says some of these things, it's like, okay, yeah, this is really hype. I mean, I've seen this is really hyperbolic. Now, if he keep it up and Lonnie Walker, you know, when it's all said and done, we're looking at like 21, 22 points per game, and he's finishing. I mean, I'll praise him. Obviously, I like Lonnie Walker, but I just think that's a little wild, man, to just throw that out there. But yeah, is he playing better? Yes. Is he most improved player worthy? No, I don't think so. I don't think he'll get that. But anyways, one last thing. I thought this was funny, and I just want to kind of speculate on this. Lonnie Walker tweeted this out. Ain't even gonna lie, someone said something to him, and he said, "Remember you said that? See what happens when you poke the bear." I was wondering, I was like, was it a Spurs player? Or was it a fan that said something to LeBron? I'm really curious who said what to LeBron. I don't know. He put on a show against us too. This is November 26th. This man had 39. Come on, bro. 39 points, 11 rebounds, 10 free throws. That's weird. That's weird to add that in. Usually people don't add in free throws. 7 threes. Oh, not trying to be that guy, okay? But he will be averaging at this point in the season, he'll be averaging much more than, got him all over the place, much more than 16. I think Devin Vassell will probably be in that 20 to 23 range if he was playing with LeBron James, only because LeBron is such a good facilitator and leader. I mean, we're talking greatest player of all time. I don't agree with that. I think it's Michael Jordan, but I mean, that's the argument there. Like, I don't know. All right, I'm sorry, I babbled a little bit. This might not be a very popular video, but let me know what you think about it. If you guys want to support the channel, clanthemerchfan.com, link in the description, or become a patron and YouTube member. Only $2 per month, link in the description for that as well. Thank you guys so much for the love. Until next time, bye.